Part 194. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1931. Under the comprehensive slaying by the Jade Immortal Sword formation, the situation gradually began to reverse. Around the Zuxian Sword formation, none of the iron-headed children continued to rush forward, because they were not stupid. Knowing that it was a dead end, did they want to attack in an all-round way without hesitation? Obviously it is difficult to do this. And Qiyu, the king of the Qiyu kingdom in the Zuxian sword formation, couldn't help but become even uglier at this moment. In the Zuxian sword formation, fewer and fewer soldiers from the Qiyu kingdom were strangled. Outside the Zuxian sword formation, no reinforcements continued to rush in. If this trend continues, or it won't take long, it will completely collapse. The current situation is more or less frightening and exciting. Seeing that there are fewer and fewer shields around him, and more Zuxian swords are gathering, Qi Lian, the king of the Qiyu kingdom, panicked instantly. His gaze scanned the surroundings, his body trembled unnaturally, and the depths of his eyes were filled with extreme panic. Facing the current situation, he didn't know what to say at this moment. The whole process is in a state of complete collapse, as if everything has drifted away. Don't, this king doesn't want to die. Akabane Kingdom Army. Come in here. Come in and rescue the king. The king orders you to rush to the sword formation. Hurry up. Immediately. As Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane Kingdom, was speaking, his pupils were full of horror, and while he was speaking, various thoughts were rapidly churning in his mind. At this moment, his hands were brought together in front of him, and his body trembled more and more. Now as long as he can save his life, he is willing to do anything. Immediately, the entire army of the Akabane Kingdom will be wiped out. This sword array definitely needs energy supply. Energy must be limited. As long as I persist long enough, I can survive. Right, that is it. Steady, I have to be steady, fully steady, absolutely no accidents will happen. Let those soldiers of the Akabane Kingdom be my scapegoats. As long as I can persist until the last moment, I will win. I see victory beckoning to me, this is my chance, I can't pass it up. Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane Kingdom, took a deep breath. His desire to survive was extremely strong. He couldn't help but glanced at Fang Fan and Queen Natasha in the distance, and the vicious expression on his face became more and more real. Now he can't wait to rush over and kill Fang Fan directly. Asshole! Fang Fan! Queen Natasha! When the king goes out, I won't let you off. All of them are going to die. Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane Kingdom, grabbed two soldiers of the Akabane Kingdom and stood in front of him. Seeing them being chopped into several pieces by the Zuxian sword, he threw them aside with a look of disgust, and then grabbed several soldiers of the Akabane Kingdom and came over to give them to him. He acts as a shield. He relied on this method to get to the present bit by bit. At this moment, all kinds of thoughts in my heart were churning, and my body trembled unnaturally. The soldiers of the Akabane Kingdom, who received the order from the Kilian king, hesitated outside the Zuxian sword formation. Their faces were ugly for a while. They are not fools, how can they not know that the sword formation is never going back? Now that they go in, there is a high probability that they will all be scapegoats, who will soon become the scapegoats of that King Qi Lian. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1932. The meaning of their existence is nothing more than to make that King Qi Lian live longer, so as to avoid being killed by the Zuxian sword earlier. How many people are willing to die like this? Gathering together at this moment, we are deeply touched by each other. Why don't you leave? His Majesty the King ordered us to rush in. Rushing in, you're really dead, His Majesty the King doesn't care about our lives at all, We, do we still need to fight for him to the end? What do you mean? Do you want to be a traitor? He, a king who doesn't touch our lives, what is there to be worthy of allegiance? Go to yourselves, anyway, I still want to live. I don't want to ruin my life for such a person. It's not worth it? It's not worth it at all. Let's stop here, let's just watch from afar. If His Majesty King Qilian really escaped, it would be the best, but if he can't escape from now on, it has nothing to do with us. It's his own. You're trying to die, you can't blame us. We have no obligation to accompany him to die. But His Royal Highness is still here. The soldiers of the Akabane Kingdom seem to have suddenly reached a consensus. At this moment, they looked at each other, and then they looked at each other silently. They wanted to stop here, and they didn't want to continue to die, but at the same time, they also had a lot of concerns. For example, His Royal Highness is standing in front of the army right now. In the sword array is his father. After the Qilian king collapsed, His Royal Highness Prince Herman became the core of everyone. The whole army, stop. Don't move on. Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom narrowed his eyes, and then gave the order indifferently. With His Royal Highness taking the lead, others will naturally have no objections, and there is a legitimate reason at this moment. Qilian, the king of the Akabane Kingdom who was in the sword formation of Zuxian, saw that there were fewer and fewer soldiers around him, and the soldiers of the Akafeather Kingdom outside were stagnant, not obeying his orders at all. At this moment, he was suddenly sullen. Bastard! Bastard! Do you want to rebel? Herman! You are my son. Are you crazy? Who told you not to let them rush into the sword array? Nyazit! Nyazit! It's extremely hateful. Asshole! After the king goes out, I will kill you all. Kill them all. Damn! A bunch of hateful bastards. Herman's lips trembled, and his complexion became gloomy and cold for a while. As he was talking at this moment, a murderous intent flickered in his mind, and his body trembled unnaturally, wishing to kill everything in front of him. Father, it's not that the son won't save you, but that he can't. All of this is your own fault. If you weren't going to provoke Prince Fangfan, if you weren't coveting Queen Natasha's beauty, why would you have encountered such a dangerous situation? In all of this, you are seeking your own death, and you can't blame others. Now the soldiers of the entire Akabane Kingdom should make meaningless sacrifices to rescue you, absolutely impossible. After you die, I will inherit your throne and become the new king of Akabane Kingdom. Herman, the prince of the Akabane Kingdom narrowed his eyes, with an extremely solemn expression. This is a calm to crazy guy. Too calm, more or less creepy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1933. In the distance, Fang Fan hugged Queen Natasha, and a look of interest appeared on his face. Didn't expect to see a play here. This is getting more and more interesting. Is this a move to seek power and usurp the throne? Or do you want to kill them thoroughly? Fang Fan's eyes raised up inexplicably, feeling more and more interesting. Everything in front of me seemed extremely real. Prince, do you want to take this opportunity to wipe out all the troops of the Akabane Kingdom? In this way, we can also lose one opponent. Queen Natasha twitched her eyebrows slightly, and then said tentatively from the side. Fang Fan raised his head and took a look, then shook his head silently. No. Don't bother. Fang Fan bared his teeth and grinned, his expression extremely solemn. The Akabane Kingdom will no longer be our opponent. That Prince Herman is a wise man. Let's take a look first. I want to see how this drama of seeking power and usurping the throne will play out. Fang Fan chuckled, and while smiling, his eyes scanned the distance, and various thoughts gradually gathered in his mind. Qi Lian, the king of Chiu Kingdom who was in the sword formation of Zuxian, was completely panicked at this moment. Even if his own son doesn't rescue him, can he count on others? As for the soldiers of the Akabane kingdom beside him, at this moment, there are tens of thousands of people in the past to hundreds of people now. Seeing that they were about to be slaughtered. Once they were all dead, it was his turn to die. Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane kingdom, clenched his molars tightly, and he didn't realize that strands of blood flowed down from his thick lips. At this moment, he focused his whole body and mind on the idea of living. As for other things, I can't take care of them at all. He just wanted to be able to survive. There are not too many other thoughts and ideas now. Herman. Bastard. General Asta. General Gilman. Kill this wicked man. Then bring troops in to help the king. As long as this king can survive, he will be rewarded heavily. Qi Lian, king of the Akabane kingdom, continued to roar, wanting the last reinforcements. It's just that the few kingdom generals who had been on the saddle with him before didn't even bother to talk to him at the moment. Qi Lian's heart instantly turned cold. He could even feel that the cold sword edge was about to pierce his chest. Herman. This king has raised you so much. I will give you whatever you want. Now that the wings are stiff, are you going to kill your father? You damn bastard. Don't you feel the grace of my upbringing? Are you a beast? Don't you feel any emotion watching your own father die here? Come and save me. This king's kindness to you is greater than the sky. Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane kingdom, was so anxious that his whole body was covered with cold sweat. While talking, his body trembled intermittently. At this moment, various ideas and thoughts rushed in his mind, and his whole body trembled, as if everything was about to happen. Completely ended here. Grace. Hee, what else did you do besides giving birth to me? Beast? Who is the real beast? My mother was tortured to death by you drunk. My wife, hee, what a gentle and lovely girl. It was because you, a beast, fell in love with her, that she died of humiliation. What qualifications do you have to be my father? You do not deserve. You died here today, it is your retribution. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1934. Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom glanced at Qi Lian indifferently, not being moved by him at all. Once you have made up your mind, it is not so easy to pull it back. In other words, I don't want to pull it back. The fighting in the Zuxian sword formation continued. In the end, all the soldiers around Kilian, the king of the Chiu kingdom, died. Countless Zuxian swords rushed directly towards his position, as if they were going to tear him apart. His eyes widened, his body twitched unnaturally, and the look of fear in his eyes was beyond words. I'm not reconciled, I'm not reconciled. I don't want to die like this. Damn. Bastard. I want to escape. Fang Fan. Queen Natasha. Herman. You wait. You will pay the price you deserve. I will always remember you forever. Click. The sharp jade immortal sword cut the body of the Qi Lian king and directly shattered it into several parts. Everyone's eyes focused on this, and the expressions of horror on their faces became more and more. Qi Lian, the king of the Akabane kingdom, died. It's finally dead. I can finally escape his shadow. I'm free. I, Herman, start a new life today. Herman trembled his lips, and while talking, the smiles on his face became more and more, all kinds of thoughts were churning in his mind, and he actually cried directly on the spot. It is conceivable how much pressure he was under from the beginning to the end. Now that all these pressures were suddenly released, he couldn't bear it anymore. Even thinking of this, the whole body trembled violently. This kind of idea and mind is vividly displayed. Qi Lian, the king of Akabane kingdom, is dead, but this war never ends. Although the Qiu kingdom suffered heavy losses after being strangled by the Zuxian sword formation, there are still 100,000 troops left. Coupled with the army and practitioners of Pure Yang Kingdom, Genji Shenzong and Dark Temple, it is still an existence that cannot be underestimated. King Qi Lian is dead. Let us encircle Fang Fan and take the fruit of God from him. I can be sure that there is definitely more than one fruit of God on his body. There must be more fruits of God on him. He's been lying to us all along. You should be able to feel the value and significance of the fruit of God. With such an opportunity in front of you, I don't believe you are not tempted. Our forces must unite now. Only in this way can we kill Fang Fan and get what we want. As He Tian, the son of the Dark Temple, spoke, his eyes flickered. At this moment, while talking, his eyes scanned the surroundings, obviously wanting to see the reactions of other people. He still doesn't have the confidence to control the whole situation. Be tempted? He, it's impossible not to be tempted. Count me into the Pure Sun Kingdom. It's the same for me as one God sect. These three forces formed an alliance in an instant, and concluded relevant contracts with each other. As for the Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom on the other side, he seemed very silent. Prince Herman, now that King Kilian is dead, you are the king of the Akabane Kingdom, and you should shoulder the responsibilities and duties of the entire kingdom. Join us. Let us besiege Fang Fan together, and we will share the fruit of God equally. He Tian, the godson of the Dark Temple, looked at Herman, the prince of the Akabane Kingdom, with an earnest expression, and the smile on his face became more and more real. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Xu Yu. Chapter 1935. On such a battlefield, it is basically impossible to be alone. The crisis of trust between each other has always been strong. Now that you have opted out, who knows if you want to reap the benefits? They are here to fight life and death, and they have changed completely when they come to you. Who can bear this? Relatively speaking, such ideas and thoughts are particularly real. Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom is not stupid either. After experiencing waves of life and death shocks, he suddenly became calm. Right now there are only two camps. One is a camp that gathers together the Dark Temple, Genji Shenzong, and Chunyang Kingdom. The purpose of their alliance is to seize the God fruit on Fang Fan. They firmly believe that Fang Fan has more than one God fruit on him, and the rest Fang Fan swallowed all the fruits of God. As for the other party, it is naturally a force formed by Fang Fan, the Qiyu Kingdom, and the Tian Kingdom. Relatively speaking, Fang Fan's power lineup is slightly weaker, and the weakness here is limited to the number of people. But in terms of combat effectiveness, the superior and inferior will be judged. Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom squinted his eyes, looked at Fang Fan with an indifferent face, and couldn't help but fall into the battle between heaven and man in his heart. After so many battles, this Prince Fang Fan has remained as still as a mountain. He is like a majestic mountain, standing here from beginning to end, giving people a sense of shock. From this perspective, this Prince Fang Fan is indeed a mysterious and powerful existence. His mystery and power are shocking and frightening. Qi Lian fell to this point because he insisted on going against Prince Fang Fan. The eyeballs of Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom began to twitch. However, if possible, he would of course be willing to leave this battlefield with the army of the Akabane Kingdom directly, and leave this place of right and wrong, but it seems that he can't do it. The current situation forced him to make a choice. Prince Fang Fan, I want to join your camp. I only hope to get a promise from you. After this war is over, let the people of our Akabane kingdom have peace. Prince Herman of the Akabane kingdom looked at Fang Fan resolutely, his eyes sparkling with excitement. The scene suddenly turned extremely interesting. Everyone's eyes are focused on this, and the feelings at this moment are more or less profound. Gaze at each other, feel each other deeply. There are various thoughts and ideas gathering between each other. I can promise you, Prince Herman, you will be grateful for your decision today. You are a visionary leader. Akabane Kingdom will lead to new glory under your leadership. Fang Fan smiled slightly, and then followed up with a compliment. These compliments came from the most sincere words in Fang Fan's heart, and he really thought so in his heart. Although Fang Fan expected that Prince Herman would not continue to oppose him, he was still a little surprised by his sudden appointment. When Prince Herman of the Akabane Kingdom chose to join Fang Fan's camp, the balance of victory was gradually shifting. Now Fang Fan's side has an absolute advantage. And the opponent's advantage is being disintegrated step by step. The Akabane Kingdom's army was originally the enemy's combat power, but now it has turned into Fang Fan's help, and it has done a huge damage to the enemy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1936. At this moment, the leaders of the Dark Temple, Genji Shenzong, and even the Pure Yang Kingdom are furious. Prince Herman, do you know what I'm talking about? That Fang Fan is your father-killing enemy. You actually choose to join your father-killing enemy. Do you want to recognize a thief as your father? Damn it! Extremely hateful. Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple, suddenly became gloomy, and now the military strength of the Akabane Kingdom has become the key to victory. Prince Herman, if you choose to defect now, the Chunyang Kingdom will be the enemy of the Akabane Kingdom forever. Jug, the king of Chunyang Kingdom, also threatened. Facing so many threats, Herman, the prince of the Akabane Kingdom, seems quite indifferent. Wait until you can survive, let's talk. Let me advise you, the fruit of the gods is good, but it also depends on whether you have the life to enjoy it. Haven't you seen how powerful Prince Fang Fan is? Chi training is the best end. As Herman, the prince of the Akabane Kingdom, said, he immediately led the army to Fang Fan's side, completely firming his position. As for the others, naturally there is no need to say more, everyone who understands understands. The 100,000 troops of the Chiu Kingdom injured 150,000 of the Chu Kingdom and 100,000 of the Tian Kingdom, plus the help of 100,000 practitioners from the Temple of the Light Alliance, almost 450,000 troops have gathered around me. And the opponent's Dark Temple, Genji Shenzong, and Chunyang Kingdom's combined forces are only 500,000. The gap in military strength is already extremely small. It's time for the final battle. All-out war. Those who follow me prosper and those who oppose me perish. Those who kneel and surrender will not be killed. With Fang Fan's order, the troops under his command gathered together in an instant, and the lineup instantly became extremely strong. Everyone's eyes focused together, their bodies twitched unnaturally, all kinds of thoughts were churning in their minds, and their feelings became even more profound. Fight with Fang Fan. Concentrate all the firepower on Fang Fan. As long as you kill him, the opponent will be as vulnerable as a plate of loose sand. Kill Fang Fan and take the fruit of God from him. Brothers of the Dark Temple. Attack. Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, gritted his teeth, and now he can be regarded as rushing the ducks to the shelves. Although my heart was extremely flustered, I hit the door of the house and couldn't leave. Only by continuing to fight fiercely can we have a chance. Army of the Pure Yang Kingdom. Follow me. Genji Shenzong, join the battle. The battle scene is extremely chaotic. Everyone's eyes were focused on this, and the idea of frenzied killing spread out in all directions. Low heavy machine artillery corps, clear the obstacles ahead. Yellow turban typing Warlock Legion, comprehensively cast curse, corrosion, and other negative status skills on the enemy. Blood Azura Legion, form a team and kill the enemy's senior officers. Gothic Super Sharpshooter Legion, comprehensive sniper kill. Other major legions, scatter and kill. The 6 great heroes and the 4 great favorites, each take his place. Kill without mercy. This is the last battle. Fang Fan bared his teeth and grinned. After planning for so long, it's time to harvest. At this moment, Fang Fan is like a farmer holding a sickle, harvesting golden grain. The harvest after such hard work always seems so satisfying. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1937. Opening the way with the major legions is basically running amok. After a wave of fighting, the battle is unparalleled. Fang Fan secretly narrowed his eyes, and his thoughts gradually boiled over. It's time to end it all. The time to fight will bring it all to an end. Dark Temple, Genji Divine Sect, Pure Yang Kingdom. Although their military strength has a certain advantage at this moment, they can't stop showing signs of retreat. They really wanted to have a big fight with Fang Fan in one go, but it's a pity that the best opportunity has been lost. At this moment, they have completely become the turtle in the urn. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, all kinds of thoughts were boiling in his mind, and the smiles on the corners of his mouth inexplicably increased. In this battle, our side is in an absolute advantage. I can't hold it anymore. Brothers. Run away. That army under Fang Fan's command is too strong, damn it, there are not many people, but each one is more perverted. Grass, who says it's not? Get out of the way, I'm going to slip. If you want to continue to die, I won't stop you, but I don't want to accompany you to the end of the world. Not to mention anything else, keeping my life is the most important thing, as for the others, it's useless. The fruits of gods and the fruits of demons have nothing to do with me. These are all contested by the sons and daughters of gods. Anyway, it is impossible to share them with us in the end. Why bother to fight for them and ruin my own life? It's not worth it, it's not worth it. Run. The overall situation is settled. When the idea of collapse has been formed, it is completely unable to collapse. The speed of everyone running away became faster and faster, their eyes gradually became extremely sharp, and all kinds of feelings were extremely profound. At this moment, one by one began to gasp, and each had a deep feeling. Escaping seemed to be the only option. Whether it is the Dark Temple, the Genji Divine Sect, or the Pure Yang Kingdom. Their practitioners and the army fled at the same time as if they had agreed at the same time. At the same time escape from this land of right and wrong. What emerges from their pupils is the longing for life. Don't run away. Who told you to escape? Did you all take the order of the Son of God as a deaf ear? Who gave you the courage? Bastard! Are you going to rebel? I told you to stop fleeing. Give it to me. Kill Fang Fan. Take the fruit of God. We still have a chance. We still have a chance to fight back. Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple, let out a roar. He was naturally unwilling to fail like this. How much he wanted to make this last fight. Just looking at it all together, he thought too much about all of this. The so-called last-ditch effort never had any effect. Because no one will follow his command anymore. Even if he put a sharp sword on the necks of these Dark Temple practitioners, they still wouldn't stop running. Even, she grinned her teeth and pretended to pounce directly. The current situation has become extremely solemn. There is no chance. The defeat is like a mountain. Why, Why is that Fang Fan always taking the lead? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. You bunch of trash. Every one of you knows that you are greedy for life and afraid of death. Look at how the Son of God killed Fang Fan directly. Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, looked confident, and immediately held a long sword in his hand. He swung the long sword rapidly in the air, and the silver sword lights flickered. It seemed that he still had some momentum. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1938. It's just that he has been waving his long sword in a flashy way all the time, but he just doesn't attack forward. Immediately, his thoughts moved slightly, and he glanced at the group of cronies beside him. Those cronies immediately understood, and then rushed forward impassionedly, holding the arm of Haitian, the godson of the Dark Temple. His Royal Highness, you have a heavy responsibility. Absolutely nothing will happen. You are the supreme son of God of our Dark Temple, there must be no accidents here. His Royal Highness, I will kill Fang Fan for you. How noble you are, how can you easily risk yourself? His Royal Highness. The group of cronies seemed to be very cooperative, pretending to pull the arms of the son of the Dark Temple, Haitian, so that he would not fly out directly. At this moment, Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, is naturally extremely satisfied. People are floating in the rivers and lakes, the most important thing is face. If he fled so carelessly, where would he save his face in the future? Can it work in the future? Don't you want to be everyone's laughing stock? This is naturally not what he wants, and he will never do it like this. Now I just want to pretend that I am righteous, that I am dedicated, that I am not afraid of life and death. You must make others feel helpless before choosing to evacuate. That attitude of impartiality must be on display. Since I have been defeated, let me die on this battlefield. How can I have the face to go back? It's a joke. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple, was speaking, and his body twitched unnaturally, as if he had suffered endless grievances in his heart. While talking at this moment, my mind gradually churned, and my feelings became more profound. Your Highness, Son of God, you shoulder the hope of all practitioners in the Dark Temple. If something happens to you, what will we do? We will all suffer from Fang Fan's murder. Even if it's for these brothers of our Dark Temple, you must not have any accidents. His Royal Highness. All of this depends entirely on you. Your Highness, Son of God, we all know that you are unparalleled in loyalty, but you can't abandon our hundreds of thousands of brothers in the Dark Temple. The cronies didn't say a word, and they were quite skilled in speaking various languages. It was as if these had been rehearsed countless times. Not to mention anything else, on the surface it still looks like that. A person who doesn't know the inside story will see the situation and think that Haitian, the son of the Dark Temple, is indeed a loyal person. Fang Fan was standing in the distance with Zhan Tian's sword in his hand and was fighting Queen Natasha side by side. Looking at the situation at this moment, his scalp felt numb for no reason. Can you talk a little more? The chattering is endless, isn't it? Can it still work? When Fang Fan saw this picture of hypocrisy, he felt a little uncomfortable for no reason. This is obviously my show, what are you showing off? Act like I'm still a villain? Holding the Heaven Zhan sword, Fang Fan soared into the air. Then he rushed directly towards the direction of Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple. Haitian. I can satisfy your loyalty. Come on. Pretend. Give you a chance to fight with me. Holding the Zhan Tian sword in his hand, Fang Fan directly wiped out several of Haitian's cronies in minutes, and gradually freed him. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1939. According to what Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, said before, at this time, it is necessary to rise up vigorously, and then directly rush over to fight in all directions, which is more in line with the normal state. After all, those big words before have been uttered, and if you regret it now, wouldn't it be a slap in the face? Haishan, the son of the god of darkness temple, watched those cronies beside him die one by one, and his complexion became ugly for a while. Before the cronies pulled him, he could still pretend to be aggrieved and sad. But at this moment, that's not the case at all. Fang Fan rushed over on his own, and even beheaded his cronies. It stands to reason that the hatred at this moment is deeper, so he needs to fight directly. But Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, compared the combat power of the two sides, and immediately gritted his teeth. This Fang Fan, I am definitely not an opponent if I fight alone. These personal guards of mine can display strong low-level quasi-jihad power, but now they are all directly wiped out. I am not much better than them, at most I can support a few more moves. I don't want to die, I can't die here. I am the godson of the Dark Temple, I still have a great future. After waves of battles between heaven and man, Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple, gradually became normal. At this moment, he gradually had some more specific thoughts and ideas in his heart. Fang Fan. Do you think that the Son of God will be fooled into fighting you? Wrong. You are wrong. Big mistake. Before, I was really impulsive. I ignored the hundreds of thousands of brothers in my Dark Temple and decided to die with you, so that you can defeat the elite of my Dark Temple without any effort. But my confidant guards used death and blood to wake me up. I can't fall into your trap. I am not afraid of death in Haishan. But I must bring hundreds of thousands of brothers in my Dark Temple to live. I won't be fooled again. Even if the Son of God wants to compromise, I will take my brothers from the Dark Temple to leave. Brothers of the Dark Temple. Strategically evacuate with me Haishan. Haishan, the son of the Dark Temple, let out a roar, and then ran away without stopping. Before he ran away, he seemed to be insignificant, as if it was for the sake of the Dark Temple practitioners that he had to choose to retreat. Is it not human nature for you to run away because of fear? Everyone is on the run, there is no nonsense. How come you are here? There is only so much nonsense? Do you really think everyone is a fool? At this moment, those cultivators in the Dark Temple lowered their heads subconsciously. It was too embarrassing. There is such a Son of God, who is obviously here to shame people. Thinking of this, they felt their heads bursting. At this moment, those cultivators from major forces who were fleeing also began to talk to each other. I've never seen such a brazen person. Damn it, to speak of running away so righteously, this Haishan godson is really a weirdo. Those high-ranking people really don't want to make a fool of themselves for the sake of face, amusing themselves. Directing and acting? Do you think we are all fools? Can't understand anything. The ghost knows what he is thinking. Anyway, he is the son of Tianxiu. Show, it's really pretty, it makes my scalp tingle. Damn, after such a comparison, I suddenly realized that Fang Fan is too tall. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1940. The journey of chasing and fleeing is fully launched. Everyone's eyes are focused on this, and the feeling is particularly real. Haishan, the godson of the Dark Temple, is now completely disgraced. Originally, I wanted to protect my own face, but I didn't expect to steal chickens and lose money in the end. More than 200,000 cultivators of the Dark Temple were killed by tens of thousands, and the remaining 200,000 fled in all directions. Not only the Dark Temple, but most of the Chunyang Kingdom's tens of thousands of troops were organized, so the casualties were the heaviest, with more than half of them damaged. In the end, only King Jug of the Chunyang Kingdom led less than 50,000 troops to retreat south. Genji Shenzong practiced and chose to evacuate when the battle just started, so the casualties of Genji Shenzong should be regarded as the smallest, and they also evacuated from all directions at this moment. The evidence situation is basically stable. This time, I thought our Chiyu kingdom was going to become history. I really didn't expect that under the attack of millions of troops, our Chu kingdom would win the war. Prince, you are amazing. Queen Natasha looked at Fang Fan excitedly, and then couldn't help kissing in public. Even though there are so many people watching around at this moment, Queen Natasha can't help it. Looking at Fang Fan, Queen Natasha couldn't help feeling endless sweetness in her heart. Thinking of this in his heart at the moment, his hands tightly wrapped around Fang Fan's solid waist. If there were not so many people here at this moment, I am afraid that I would have wanted to go deeper. Fang Fan took a breath, looking at Queen Natasha's beautiful face and slightly flushed cheeks, he couldn't help but feel a little short of breath. This Her Majesty the Queen is seductive all the time. The gestures shown again and again are vivid. Fang Fan took a deep breath and secretly cursed at the goblin. Prince Fang Fan. At this time, Herman, the prince of the Akabane kingdom, suddenly rushed over from a distance, and then suddenly knelt down on one knee in front of Fang Fan. Prince Herman, since we are already allies, we should have an equal relationship, and there is no need to perform such a big gift. Fang Fan put his arms around Queen Natasha, and then said to the prince of the Akabane kingdom. No. I came here this time to ask Prince Fang Fan one thing. Herman, the prince of the Akabane kingdom, had a slight thought, and a look of excitement appeared on his face. He couldn't help but sigh. Fortunately he chose the most correct path, turned his back on the front line at the critical moment, and stood by Fang Fan's side, otherwise it would not only be the Chunyang kingdom that has suffered heavy losses and lost and fled, go to their Akabane kingdom. The Prince Herman of the Akabane kingdom felt a little bit, as if there would be no accidents as long as Fang Fan existed. This seems to have become a certain conclusion. Thinking of this, the expression on the face of Herman, the prince of the Akabane kingdom, became more and more solemn, and there was even a little secret joy. I promised before that after the war, the grievances between the Akabane kingdom and me will be wiped out. Prince Herman, now you can leave with your army. As long as you don't attack, I won't harass you again. Fang Fan nodded and said very sincerely that he would not go back on the promise he made. No. It's not about this. Prince Fang Fan, we Chiu Kingdom hope to become your vassal just like Shu Kingdom and Tian Kingdom.